Well, it's Monday, so it's Joy Post Day today, so it only seems fair that I just had to yell into the other room, I'm doing a Joy Post, be good! So, I bet you that silly face I just made is going to be the freeze frame for this YouTube video. It could happen. So, today is our anniversary. As you can see, I'm totally glam for it. So this is how it works when you've been married for a long time. You go away when the chance comes up, and you get real excited about going to Goodwill. But actually, I found some great things at Goodwill. And then we went out to Clementine's, which was great because I've been so hungry for onion rings. And I was super happy to get those. But anyway, so today is actually our anniversary. And this is how the day went. Jake is on an overnight tonight. He drives semi-truck, so he's hauling steel coils, and our area is terrible right now. There's no work. And so he's traveling all across the states, which is like cool. So today he was in Indianapolis, and I'm all like, did you see Two Chicks and a Hammer? Did you go to the Bates Hendricks district? I mean, did you accidentally get lost and have to drive through Indianapolis? I mean, that would be kind of cool. Did you see any of the houses? And he didn't. He just drove by the city. But in my head, it's very much more interesting. So anyway, he's gone. And so this morning, Eli comes down, some 3, and he's like, something smells weird upstairs. So, I mean, it's the boys' bathroom. They're supposed to clean it themselves. I just assume it's that. I'm pretty sure that Liberty, our dearly beloved beagle, probably rolled in something nasty, which, you know, so hard to believe with a beagle, and then proceeded to roll in the carpet upstairs. So I cannot believe I'm admitting this. I was on my hands and knees sniffing the carpet today to figure out where was the worst smell, and then I was steam cleaning, which, again, hooray, we have a steam cleaner, and I had steam cleaning soap. I mean, I was totally set up to handle the situation. But Jake called while I was steam cleaning, and he's like, what are you doing? Why didn't you answer the phone? And I'm like, I'm cleaning carpets. And he's, that's a great idea. How fun. And then, you know, so it was just nasty. It was just nastiness. But it's smelling much better. And when I hung up on the phone with Jake, I was like, happy anniversary. So that's what 23 years married looks like. Anyway, so in the blog post, I write about a bunch of different things, but I also talk about that we went on a bike ride. So I was doing really well bike riding every single day until I wasn't. And I'm still bike riding. Maybe we'll go on a bike ride tonight. I bet we will. So I really love my bike. I don't really think I could tell you how much I love my bike. It's like it's not quite like getting your keys in your first vehicle, but it kind of feels like that too. It's so fun. So there's this cemetery that's near our house, and I've been to one cemetery, but I hadn't been to this cemetery before, ever. So we rode our bikes there because I wanted to see what it looked like. And Eli and Abe are trying to get the water pump to work, and it took forever. I mean, almost the whole time we were there. But I was walking around, and I was looking at the gravestones. I like reading gravestones. I like seeing how old they are. I really love to see the old names and what they put. And one of them said Psalm 137:1. And I'm like, boys, do you know what Psalm 137:1 means? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I mean, I love the Psalms. I'm sure that this is beautiful. One moment. I didn't actually think about maybe I should just read it from the Bible instead of paraphrase it. So, yeah, so we did that, and I was watering flowers and picking up, oh, great, and I told you Psalm 137:1, and it's not the right verse. That's even better. Anyway, it's not Psalm 137:1. It is in Psalm. It says, Lord, please remember me in my, basically it says my life sucks. Please remember that. That's what that verse says. So anyway, we had a whole conversation about gravestones. I know that sounds so weird, but it was so fun. There was one that said be of good cheer, and I'm like, I think I would have liked this woman. So anyway, we walked around a graveyard for a while, a cemetery, and then we came home. But the whole eating ice cream after we bike ride is brilliant. I strongly recommend it. And hopefully we're going to try some bike trails. That's the next thing that we plan to do. But in this, I didn't even give you an introduction. So these are just some of the things that we're doing in finding joy in the everyday. So we're on this quest, and I say we because I'm on this quest, and I'm just asking you to join me in finding joy in the everyday. And so every day I'm looking for things of joy. And I didn't come through this like, oh, everything's happy, happy, happy. Well, okay, kind of I do. My mom says I look through rose-colored glasses, but there's always something there's always something to be joyful about. And there's happiness and there's joy. And I feel like sometimes they kind of cross each other, and I've heard enough debate about happiness is joy, but I feel like joy is deeper. Joy, I feel, comes from God. And so when I'm not feeling the joy, when I'm feeling very overwhelmed, I can pray, God, fill me up with your joy. And it never fails. It never, ever fails. Something. He brings joy to me. And I feel like it's a way of living your life with your eyes more open. So I give this example in the blog, and actually I don't have a picture of this, so I'll go outside and at the end of the video I'll show you this. So I was given this fountain by a friend of mine, and I love this fountain. I have a huge fear of water, believe it or not, but I love going to a lake or a pond or a creek. I like wading in water. I do not like swimming. I will never ice fish. First of all, it's cold, and second, you're walking on water, and only Jesus should do that. So I have a lot of thoughts about water, but I love the sound of water. And a friend of mine who I never dreamed this would happen. We live on the same road now. I mean, we live in 2 different towns, but essentially I can pull out of my driveway, turn left, and turn left back into her driveway, like never leaving our road. It's so awesome. And she had a fountain, so she gave it to me, and I have it right outside my door, and I can hear it as I'm talking to you. And I tried to put it where I could hear it from my kitchen and from this spot, because this is like, I don't know, it's just my spot. And it's not heated, so I just soak up this time in here as much as I can, because Michigan is going to be ice cold here in the dead of winter. So anyway, this fountain has all these birds coming and sitting there, and I think they must think they've found a tropical paradise, because there's waterfalls and the birds are all there and the frogs are hopping in, and they just make me happy. They bring me joy. And we've had a bunch of stuff that we're going through, and sometimes it just takes looking at that waterfall and watching those birds and going, God took care of them. God took care of them, and he still continues to take care of them. So like, I can trust him. And look at what he did. He gave me a water fountain from a friend of mine that I can give into these birds. I don't know. The way it all coincides together just absolutely brings me joy. And the more I look for joy, the more I see it. So, I asked the boys, like, what was a really cool thing that happened this week? And again, they do not want to be on video. So there was a lot of things that happened, and I have pictures on my blog post of, like, Andrew turned 21 this week, and it's our anniversary, today, and we celebrated it this weekend. It's just different things like that. But the boys, and hopefully I will not cry. I cry about everything right now. They went to my parents this weekend, and our youngest does not remember any time ever that the 4 of them spent the night at my parents' house, which, I mean, it didn't happen a whole lot because of the age gap, and I mean, they went over there for Christmas break and stuff like that, but anyway, not a ton. But my mom and dad wanted one night with all 4 boys before yeah, I'm going to start crying before Andrew gets married and Isaac leaves for the Navy. So it's funny to me, and I had to call my mom today, and I did cry. Every one of them had a favorite part of that night over there. They all, here I'm in the kitchen. They all had something that was that really meant a lot to them. So they each said for sure their highlight was spending that night at my parents' house, but each of them had a different perspective of that, and isn't that life? I mean, everyone looks at the same thing and sees different things in it. It's like the finding the joy thing too. We're all looking at the craziness of life, but we all can look at it in a different perspective too. We can look at all just the bad, and I know you have to balance it out. You can't just live in a la-la land, but you can see the good in things too. So anyway, now that I've talked about boys spending the night at my parents' house, I don't know what else to talk about because it was so great. Oh, I'm going to show you, I have this article. I link it on my blog, but it's from Encourage, which, next week when you come back here, I'm going to have a gift pack from Encourage. Somehow I randomly won a gift pack. So you all know I absolutely love my Encourage Bible. I've talked about it so many times. But this article came out today, and it's called 3 Loving Promises Why You Can Rest in God's Love for You by Bonnie Gray. And the funny thing is I just read an article about Bonnie Gray. So then I saw that she had written this, and it was really good. And she talks about when you don't know what to do, God whispers, cast your cares on me. When you don't have words to pray, know that Jesus is praying for you and holds you close. And that's from Romans 8:34 is what they have right here. And our pastor's going through Romans. And so I started where Pastor Jason was, and I've just been reading through Romans from that point. And I haven't gotten very far because there's so much good that sometimes I just sit in a part of it. So anyway, Romans 8, good encouragement. And I'm getting to Romans 15:13, which is my verse for the year. That reference I do know. Unlike the Psalm 130, it's not that verse. So anyway, point 3 in this article is when you long for someone to hold you, Jesus reaches out his hand to help you. Anyway, this is a really great article. It really meant a lot to me. It also talks about poppies, and poppies are, a friend of mine just asked me, what is your favorite flower? And I'm like, I don't know. I like all the flowers. So I was about to say poppies, which are my favorite flower. But the truth is I have lots of favorite flowers. So anyway, all together, we are looking for the joy in the everyday. We are posting about the joys that we're finding every day. I love when you tag me and say, here is my joy for the day. It's so fun to share that with each other. When your heart is full of that, you can't help but pour out. But if you just keep it in, it becomes stagnant, and you've got to pour it out. You got to pour your life out. Otherwise, you're just stinky. Don't be stinky. Just pour it out. So I'm going to take a quick little walk around, and I'll tag it into the end of this of just my water fountain. And just tell me your joy. And let's all talk about it for this week. Today especially, and then if you think of anything through the week, let me know, and then we'll come back here next Monday because it'll be Joy Day again. It'll be time to do our joy post. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. I was slightly distracted because I have wild birds outside my window. Desk where I was talking to you. Wild birds. So anyway, this is my little spot. And it's so cute. And it's the front room of our house. I just call it the front room. It's also the drop zone. So I love it. I love my big window. I love it. But it's not heated. So as soon as it gets cold out, I have to move out of here. But absolutely one of my favorite spots in our house. And if you walk through here, then it gets weird. It gets all boy again. Like, I just open these curtains with binder twine. Then it's all fishing stuff and whatever they happen to walk into the house with. Girly side, boy side. This is my fountain. Hold on, car going by. So I love it. So this, I've never actually decorated this wall before, but I did this year. And I have those lights so they can plug in, and it just makes me happy. And Isaac found this piece of wood that a beaver chewed. What do you say? I don't know. A beaver chewed it, because that's what a beaver did. And so he hauled that out of the woods one year when he was hunting, and so I propped it up by the door so I could see it, because it just makes me smile. But here's the fountain where the birds are coming, and I've got frogs jumping in. Here's Andrew's truck, which is very unusual. He would park in the front of the house. So, I don't know. Because he's moving out this week, it just seems extra special to see his truck here. And this is my front porch. Why not just give you a little tour? So, front porch. It's one of my faves. There's my bird feeder, which they have completely... It's not that I didn't feed my birds. I mean, I obviously haven't fed them today, but I just filled that yesterday. All of it. And there are mealworms, which we're hoping brings good good birds, because across the street, that's my neighbor. And we can both watch each other's bird feeders. It's way fun. We have a ton of fun. So anyway, front porch, fountain, kitchen window. So I stand there and wash dishes and hear my fountain.